shriek. Your outcome's looking pretty bleak. Thunder booms and lightning crashes, leaving boots filled with ashes. As we lay you down to rest, we read the pages of the Dead Man's Digest.
Welcome to Day 9 of the Dead Man's Digest's look back through Halloween Horror Night Orlando history. This episode is brought to you by the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast, and we will continue our look back in time with Halloween Horror Nights 21 in 2011. This event had the taglines, "Be careful what you wager, because nobody beats the house," "How much will you wager?" "Are you in?" and "Your fate is in her hands," and Lady Luck was its icon. This event took place over 25 nights inside Universal Studios Florida, and a single night admission ticket cost $81.99. The houses that year consisted of the In-Between in 3D, in Sprung Tent No. 1. An ominous portal reveals a third dimension where all is not what it seems, a realm where our world and another collide. Surrounded by fiendish creatures, your eyes will deceive you with every step through this phantasm of terror. Nevermore, The Madness of Poe, in Sprung Tent No. 2. The madness of Edgar Allan Poe's greatest works has come to life. Step into the mind of the iconic writer, where every turn of the page takes you closer to the brink of insanity. The Thing, in Soundstage 23A. Paranoia spreads like an epidemic among a group of researchers in an isolated Antarctic outpost as they are infected, one by one, by a horrifying creature from another planet. In a place where there is nothing, they found something. Nightingale's Blood Prey, which was in Soundstage 23B. Within every war, the Nightingales have appeared. Able to transform themselves to fit any setting, these savage banshees feed on the weak and the helpless. Patrolling World War I era trenches, you discover that you are more than just at war. You're being hunted. Winter's Night, The Haunting of Hawthorne Cemetery in Soundstage 22. As snow falls on this normally serene Gothic cemetery, the deceased souls that occupy its confines have their sights set upon you, ensuring that the chill you feel up your spine is more than just the cold of the night. Saws and Steam, Into the Machine, which was in the Jaws queue. Spinning blades and massive crushing pistons await you around every corner as you are forced deeper into the bowels of a mechanical nightmare. Give yourself to the machine. The Forsaken, in the Parade Building. 4 ships began Columbus's fateful voyage. Only 3 became legend. Condemned to a watery grave, the mutinous and cursed crew of that 4th ship has returned with a vengeance. For within the walls of a Spanish fort, a maelstrom has brought from the depths death itself. And HR Blood and Guts presents Holidays of Horror, which was in the disaster queue. Join creature feature host HR Blood and Guts in his final televised broadcast as he presents a scare-a-thon of holiday-based horror that is guaranteed to cleave you screaming for more. The scare zones that year were Nightmares in Shrek Alley, journey through the ever-changing maze of darkness. This all-black maze will morph and change as you walk through it. You will not be scared the same way twice. 7 on Hollywood Boulevard. As daylight shines upon our temptresses, their appearance through evil allows you the spectacle of beauty. As night falls, these 7 temptresses will show their true colours and take on their true fatal evil forms. Beware of your own temptations. Grown Evil in Central Park. Enter, if you dare, into our garden where evil grows. Nature has taken this once well-manicured sanctuary back from the humans who once kept it. Now the creatures that inhabit the garden are making any human that enters their prey. Canyon of Dark Souls, which was in the International Food Concourse. Upon entering into the Canyon of Dark Souls, you will feel like a small speck of humanity as the overwhelming sense of death surrounds you. Creatures that dwell within the canyon are not welcoming, so walk slowly as not to disturb them. Acid assault in New York. For decades now, the city has been degrading from the effects of acid rain that still falls today, caused by factories which sprung up on the city's edges during the 20th century. Those that have lived and survived the blistering decay are all alone in the city. Survivors have stripped the city of all life to sustain their own. Dare to enter the acid assault. And your luck has run out, which was in Sting Alley. Enter if you dare into the lair of the lucky. Your choices will determine if you make it out alive. Witness Luck's deadly wrath. Will she choose you to be her next victim? The shows that year were Death Drums. A seductive, hard-hitting and raw extreme drumming experience is revealed at Halloween Horror Nights 21. Don't just see one show, as there are 3 different shows nightly. Make the choice and experience Death Drums. And again, Bill and Ted's Excellent Halloween Adventure. Party on as those 2 most excellent dudes return to skewer the biggest names in entertainment and pop culture. The last year of this episode is Halloween Horror Nights 22. This event used the tagline, "Once you're inside, there is no way out," and featured no icon. It was held over 25 nights inside Universal Studios, Florida, and a single night admission ticket cost $89.99. The houses that made up this year were Alice Cooper, Welcome to My Nightmare, which was in Sprung Tent No. 1. Journey into legendary rocker Alice Cooper's twisted mind and witness the natural melding of horror and Cooper's 4 decades-long career. Here you will follow Stephen, the iconic character from many of Cooper's works, as you come face to face with a myriad of tormentors who threaten an already decaying sense of sanity. Penn and Teller nuked Las Vegas in 3D, which was in Sprung Tent No. 2. World-renowned magicians Penn and Teller have accidentally nuked Las Vegas, but don't worry, it's nothing a fresh coat of paint and a truckload of BS can't fix. Come on down to New Vegas, where all that glitters isn't gold, and in fact probably has fatal levels of radioactivity. This featured 3 guest-activated triggers. One was a red button, which triggered an alarm and fog effect. The second was pull the rope in the honeymoon suite, which caused the bed to vibrate. And the third, a series of buttons could be found in the room following the buffet. Guests could watch through a 2-way mirror as they triggered gags in the buffet room. One effect was the sensation that rats were crawling around the legs of those in the buffet. A final trigger backfired with a spray of water in the direction of the button pusher. Gothic, which was in Soundstage 20A. The Cathedral de Cementum Animus is, by day, undergoing a building-wide architectural refurbishment. By night, the many stone gargoyles that keep watchful eye over the sanctuary come to life with the mission of protecting this sacred place against intrusion. Dead End in Soundstage 20B. If enough people believe in something, perception can become reality. In Cary, Ohio, the perception was that countless horrific acts had occurred in the old Hartford mansion. The reality was that the curse which befell the house was far worse than any story ever told. Welcome to Silent Hill in Soundstage 22. In the eerie and desolate town of Silent Hill, ash falls from the sky and the physical laws of nature no longer apply. If you dare to venture into this alternate dimension, there is only one law of nature with which you must concern yourself: survival. Universal's House of Horrors held in the Parade Warehouse. These are Universal's classic monsters of fear who have terrified audiences from the silver screen. They have been waiting within silver celluloid to be resurrected. The flash of a lightning strike cuts the darkness that surrounds, and terror's true face takes back what is theirs. And The Walking Dead, Dead Inside, which is in the disaster queue. There is strength in numbers, and you must band together to make it through many of the iconic settings made famous by the critically acclaimed AMC television series The Walking Dead. As the city is crawling with hordes of walkers, the issue of your becoming one of them is not a question of if, but when. This year didn't contain scare zones, but instead had street experiences. Halloween Horror Nights 22 will offer a completely reinvented street experience. They will find you and invade your personal space like never before. There will be no boundaries. The rules of the past will no longer apply. Roaming legions of menacing beasts, vampires, prisoners, warriors and more will inhabit every corner of the park. There is no escape. As you make your way through the dark and sinister streets, beware. Someone is watching your every move. The legions of horror have ripped and clawed their ways out of the ground. The legions of horror have ripped and clawed their way out of the ground from an ancient buried cemetery long kept secret. They'll move silently throughout the night, never staying in one place too long. Don't bother trying to avoid them. They will get you. The Iniquitous. Rooted in evil, these are the patrons of death, and were the first to rise from the cemetery. They've summoned the Dark Legions to join them in a night of carnage as they feast upon the living. Dark Legion's Vampires. Summoned by the iniquitous, the creatures of the night are here to quench their undying thirst. They lurk in the shadows, listening for fresh blood pulsing inside your living veins. Dark Legion's traditionals. These aren't the fiends from your childhood books. These are the fears that creep inside your dreams, brought forth by the iniquitous. These ghosts and goblins have teeth, and they're hungry. Dark Legion's prisoners. At a brutal women's prison, fire scorched the inmates alive, and the charred convicts were trapped between life and death. Until now. The iniquitous have released them, and they're going to kill everyone in their path. Their chainsaws are churning, and they're coming for you. Dark Legion's warriors. Slaughtered in a deadly battle, the warriors have been brought back from the dead by the iniquitous. Seeking their bloodthirsty revenge, they move under a cloak of darkness, so beware. That's not a breeze on the back of your neck. And Dark Legion's beasts. The iniquitous have commanded these grotesque predators to hunt you down. Silently they'll stalk you, all night long, until they have you surrounded and there's nowhere left to hide. An additional street experience was roaming zombies near the exit to The Walking Dead. This legion is not listed in the park guide, however, they are represented in the Horror Unearthed game as the Kerosene tribe. The shows this year consisted of 20 Penny Circus, fully exposed. The 20 Penny Circus brings its magic for people with questionable taste to an unsuspecting Halloween Horror Nights audience, and Bill and Ted's Excellent Halloween Adventure. And that will conclude this trip through Halloween Horror Nights history. We again wanted to give HHNcrypt.com a plug for supplying the info. Make sure you join us again tomorrow for the last of our looks back into Halloween Horror Nights history. So until tomorrow, sleep tight, Internet.